Trades back here with another video, and I'm going to be starting a new series in which I kind of keep a trading journal online and kind of explain the trades that I personally entered today, why I entered them, the coins that I faded today and why I faded them, the catalyst, my entrance strategy on these coins. And yeah, hopefully it'll help some of you viewers out there that are newer in the trenches and trying to get into it. But without further ado, let's get into it. So before we get started, just some insight on my trading strategy. I'm not a high volume trader. I personally find 2 to 3 good coins a day to ape into with size in hopes for to multiply my money in order to find a 2, 3, 4, 5x, so on and so forth. A lot of people try and take like 50 trades a day, try and just scalp 30%. If that works for you, great. But personally, I've switched to aping in with size and conviction because if you find a coin with a good narrative and front run it, most of the time you're going to print because it's going to run. Good narratives always get picked up, whether it be by KOLs, other creators, or cabals even. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to be going over coins that I call in my Discord server or that are called in my Discord server. As you guys could see, I have a bot that calls out coins based on their volume, fresh holder percentage, holder distribution, and the bot kind of checks all of that stuff. The only thing that I really have to check is the narrative itself. So that's kind of how I find a lot of my plays. If you guys want access to this bot, you guys could join my Discord server. Totally up to you. You guys could obviously find these coins on Pulse. This is a strategy that I just developed and it works for me the best. So I started using this. So without further ado, let's get into it. What was called out today was this coin called Luffy. And essentially, Luffy was a capybara that was born in the same zoo that Mudeng was born in. And if you guys aren't familiar with the peak time in the trenches, Mudeng was a capybara coin that ended up running the 400 million market cap. It ended up getting a Coinbase listing, and obviously you guys know that running the 400 million market cap is an absolute insane feat. And Mudeng was one of the biggest meme coins ever in the trenches. So the fact that another capybara was in the same zoo that Mudeng was born in, and they were advertising it on X, was kind of insane. And not only that, not only did this kind of follow the Mudeng narrative in a way, this also kind of followed the One Piece meta that we had a few weeks ago. If you guys are active in the trenches, a few weeks ago there was a One Piece coin that ended up running to 10 million market cap, which is definitely big time. And in the picture of the capybara, he was wearing a Luffy hat, which is obviously the main character from One Piece. So not only did this coin mimic the lore behind Mudeng, it also took a past meta in One Piece, which combined for a new kind of coin creation, which is this coin right over here, Luffy, which was definitely a big time narrative. And this also has a lot of potential because it could with the Luffy hat, people in the X community started making this kind of a profile picture cult and putting the Luffy hat on their profile pictures on X, which combines a good narrative and a good cult-like community vibe, which is obviously a big-time green flag. So let's just talk about entry strategies on this coin. So as you guys saw, this coin was called around 116k market cap at 5:19 a.m., which was around over here. And all good coins have dips. I feel like on every single coin that you're looking at, you should definitely wait for a dip. The better the coin is, I feel like the less of a dip that you should wait for because other people are going to take that dip. They're going to see the potential in a coin, and if you don't eat that dip, someone else will eat it up. So as you guys could see over here at around 519 when the call was made, it was at 120k market cap. And on coins like this, like I said, even a small dip goes a long way. If you waited for entry at around 100k, that would have been a great entry. And the reason you might be thinking to yourself, yo, it's only 20k market cap. Like it's not that big of a deal in the long term. To be fair, 20k market cap might not seem like a lot, but that's just extra money you're leaving on the table. If you have an 100k entry and a coin goes to 200k market cap, that's a 2x. But if you have a 120k entry for a coin to 2x, it would have to go to 240k market cap, which is definitely a big difference. So as you guys had seen, the call was at 116k, which nowadays in the trenches might seem late, but for big time narratives, they end up going to big time market caps. And as you guys can see, Luffy ended up running. It hit. We had found this coin at 115k market cap, and this coin ended up hitting 450k market cap, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just try and find it for you guys real quick. Uh, right over here, it ended up hitting 450K market cap, which would have given you a 4x from the call out, which is exactly why I say conviction matters more than just creating a bunch of different coins. Quantity is definitely worse than quality in the meme coin space, in my opinion, because one big time play like this, let's say you aped $100 on this coin, and you held to like not even the peak, just like 350K. You would have turned that $100 into $350, which is definitely a big time return, and you're just kind of multiplying your portfolio in 1 to 2 trades a day. And those wins keep on stacking up over and over again, and just keep helping to build up your portfolio. So Luffy was definitely a big time meme coin that we caught. Obviously, it's important to talk about the winners. At the end of this video, I'm also going to talk about some of the losers that were caught in the Discord, and why they kind of failed, and what to watch out for, because obviously you should learn from all your losses so that you don't make the same mistakes over and over again. So yeah, the next coin we ended up catching was this coin called Out, and this coin absolutely exploded. And this was honestly a very free play, and I'll explain why. No, the next play was called Out, and basically the narrative behind this coin was that Coinbase was hard shilling a new kind of slogan, and they were kind of saying that crypto is a lot of normal people's way out, which is obviously a big time narrative for meme coins. And we ended up catching it before this big time leg up around 60K, which was way down here, as you guys could see. And this coin ended up exploding to 500K. And we ended up hitting a 6 to 7x on this meme coin, which is insane. And the narrative on this coin is really just very straightforward. Coinbase is a supplier to Solana, which is the blockchain that all meme coins are built off of. And the fact that Coinbase made a YouTube video and their new X banner was about crypto being normal people's way out was a big time narrative for for meme coins in general. And yeah, that's why this coin was kind of devved. It was free advertisement for this meme coin because of how much like Coinbase was kind of pushing their new slogan on YouTube and X and stuff. And basically meme coins are a mindshare market. Whatever gets the most attention is the coin that ends up going the highest. So this coin, as you guys know, Coinbase has a big time influence and gave a bunch of advertisement on this slogan. And yeah, we had front ran this coin because a lot of people didn't realize that this was their new slogan, and we had caught it very early, and that was the reasoning why I personally bid this coin. And we caught it for a big time game. It was a 7x play, which is obviously huge. Even if you only put like $10 in this coin, you would have came out with $70 if you held to the top. Or even if you just clip profit, you still would have made a lot of money on this coin. So this was a pretty free play in my opinion. The narrative is very straightforward on a coin like this, and we just front ran everyone. I'm going to be going over one of the losers that was called out today. And personally, I didn't bid this coin because a big time red flag that I look for in all coins is the global fees paid on the coin. And a benchmark you guys can use is a coin that hits 100K market cap. A healthy coin should have ideally 30 Solana in fees, and it should have dips along the way. As you guys could see, yeah, it had a dip after migration, but it was kind of just up from there. And considering the fact that the global fees on this coin for a coin that hit 120K at that time were like 18 Solana, that means that there's going to be hidden bundles holding the coins. As as you guys know, pot terminal and Axiom shows like bundle percentage in a coin, but the most accurate way to figure out how bundled the coin is to look at the global fees paid. All right, so first off, in the Discord server, this coin was called at 110K market capish, right? Which, as you guys could see, was at the all-time high. And just a quick note, you never want to bid a coin at the all-time high. That's always a bad strategy because, especially in the meme coin space and how the trenches are now, it's a lot of PvP and people end up cheating at new all-time highs. So you could always wait for an entry. And not just that, considering that this coin had low global fees, and there was no major dips along the way, you already know that there's a nasty bundle waiting to sell. And that could honestly happen at any time. It's usually sooner rather than later. So if you wanted to get an entry on a coin like this, you could have waited for the bundle to dump if you like the narrative that much. And I'm not going to lie, the narrative on this coin was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. But I ended up fading this coin because it was bundled. And that's the main reason why I think it failed. As you guys can see, it had a nasty dip all the way down over here, which it never really recovered from. However, I do think that if this coin holds a consistent floor and the zoo that this monkey is from ends up being onboarded and claiming the fees that are behind this coin, I do think that this coin could reverse to all-time high levels. However, it is very speculative and it is a gamble at the end of the day because your money is in the zoo's hand at that point. Then if you guys don't understand what I'm talking about, the narrative behind this coin was there was an orangutan in a zoo that was very popular, and the zoo was kind of posting a lot of pictures about this orangutan, and the zoo ended up making a Solana wallet, which which the global fees were redirected to, which is obviously good because it supports kind of the monkey's home and habitat. And if the dev was able to onboard the zoo that was habiting the monkey, that would definitely be a big time green flag behind this coin, because it the people in the community would obviously know that the fees are going to support a good cause, but that never ended up happening, and it was really unfortunate that the bundle kind of killed the coin with good potential. But a big time thing to look at before entering coins is definitely the global fees. If you guys saw Luffy and even out, the global fees were at like 160k market cap. Yes, those coins did go to higher market cap valuations long term, but a coin at 150k or 120k market cap should definitely have more than just 27 global fees paid, especially considering that there was dips that were getting picked up on. Global fees is kind of the only real indication at bundles, because bundles could hide from the bundle percentage shown on Axiom and Terminal, because they could just source their different wallets or trade on Axiom and Terminal in two different tabs. So the biggest indication to look to see if a coin is bundled is to look at the global fees. So I did go over two of the winners. This was one of the losers that we unfortunately caught. Like I said, if the zoo does end up claiming the fees, I could see it reversing the all-time highs. Is that likely though? Honestly, I really don't think so, and that's why I personally would not bid a coin like this. But initially, I didn't bid the coin essentially because of the global fees on the coin. I am going to go ahead and cap off the video there. If you guys do want access to these calls on my Discord server, you guys could join. I'll have the link in the description down below. And yeah, we be cooking on the daily. If you guys want, I have a free chat where a bunch of people just kind of trade together, and you could just hop in there and scan. It's always better to trade meme coins with the community. And if you're just starting out, as you guys can see, I have some free guides on how to spot rug pulls, how to spot big time narratives, my filter, my fee settings, and stuff like that. So if that's something you would be interested in, I'll have the link down below in the description. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with day 2. I'm gonna try and make this a daily series, just documenting some trades, why they were successful, why they failed, and yeah. If you guys enjoyed this video or have any questions, drop a comment down below.